All right, we are live. And all right, so does your sales team say the leads suck? Your sales team say that the customer sucks? Does the sales team say that, we just can't seem to close deals for whatever reason? Now, here's a fun fact. 30% of salespeople say they have never had formal sales training. 30%. That's ridiculous, in my opinion. So let me ask you, if you're a business owner, you should be watching this right now. And if you're a business owner and you struggle with some of these items, if you struggle with your sales team, if you struggle with excuses, if you struggle with not being able to get your sales team on track, I'd have you think for a moment. And look, I'm not trying to point out the negatives here, but at the end of the day, there's a disconnect between you as the business owner potentially and the sales team, or your sales manager and your sales team. There's a disconnect, because at the end of the day, look, great business owners typically train their sales team weekly, right? Every single week you do role play. Every single week you go through product knowledge. Every single week you go through different scenarios that's going to help your team improve. Now, I don't know about you, but if maybe I'm biased, probably, because I love sales and I love talking about sales, because that is what moves the needle in your business. That's what changes your revenue, right? And we cover this in my Sales CEO Syndicate group coaching program, which I really should have put across the bottom of this, but I forgot. And you're more than welcome to reach out to me if you would like more information about that. But here's the deal. Like, if you don't shore up your sales team, how do you think you're going to make money? Because you could have the best marketing on the planet. You could have Russell Brunson in your back pocket and Mark Zuckerberg in the other pocket. And guess what? If you can't close the sale, all that money you're dumping into marketing is falling on deaf ears, right? It is absolutely pointless for you to dump money into marketing if your sales team is not closing deals. And so that is what I do. I am an expert sales trainer and coach, and I come in and I work with sales teams. I work with business owners to understand from their point of view what's going on with their sales team. And then I also talk to the sales team and I understand their point of view separately. And then I figure out a way to bring those two together, right? Because there's clearly a disconnect somewhere in your company if the sales team is giving you a bunch of excuses. Now, look, if you've got great salespeople, they don't give you excuses. Great salespeople also don't ask for a salary. Great salespeople go out and they grind hard, because that's what salespeople do. Salespeople are the most resilient human beings on the planet, because we get kicked in the teeth so many times that it becomes a natural thing. It becomes a natural thing for somebody to say, the price or the wife or the husband or the whatever. If you don't know how to overcome those objections, and my guess is if your sales team's saying, oh, the leads suck, oh, the customers suck, oh, the product sucks, it's just an excuse. They don't know how to sell. They've never been taught a sales process, a point A to point B strategy that will take you from frustrated and overwhelmed to blasting your revenue through the roof. That is what you're looking for. If you're a business owner, that's what you want. Revenue, 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 revenue. Now, don't get me wrong. Is that the only thing that's important? No. But if that piece is missing, you are going to suffer as a business owner. And I'd have you think for a second, if you're the business owner, and you probably are, that is trying to wear 13 hats at once, at some point, you've got to relinquish some of that control. You don't have to do anything. You can keep spinning your wheels around and around and around in hopes there's a better outcome. But there's not. There's just not unless you get sales training for your people. They look, your salespeople are the most important thing of your business. Again, you can have your HR department intact. You can have your marketing intact. You can have your operations intact. You can have your field guys intact. You can have everything shored up except for the sales team. And guess what? You're going to lose. You're going to lose every single time. And so if you're watching this and this resonates with you, you should probably think about reaching out to me or somebody and getting some help. Because at the end of the day, if you don't have a strategy put in place to, well, there's several things, right? You got to have confidence. That's the first thing, right? You also have to be able to prospect. You've got to be able to follow up. You've got to be able to connect the dots. You got to know who you're talking to. Who is your ideal customer? Who is the exact person you want to do business with? And when you figure that out, you don't have to guess anymore. You don't have to wonder why your sales team's not doing well, right? And at the end of the day, look, I mean, I've got a proven track record. I've helped companies grow. Look, I worked with a company late last year. Second month we were there, hit company goal, first time ever in history. I've also helped take, and this is not about me. This is about you and your business, right? But if imagine for a moment, if you could lead the customer to the answer that you want, not the answer they want. In other words, don't mislead. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is you want to be able to help people to make the decision on their own to move forward with your product or service. Why? Because you know that product or service is going to change the game for your company and for the customer, more so. The customer is the biggest thing here. If you don't want to stay in business, don't do anything with your sales team. You don't have to do anything. You can keep spinning your wheels. You can keep banging your head against the wall. You can keep losing money every single day that you don't do sales training with your company and with your employees, period. And look, I'm just going to tell you right now, this breeds a great company culture. If you have somebody come in and train your people, it shows that you care. It shows that you're invested in their success. And maybe you're not invested in their success, but I'd have you ask for a moment, if that is the case, why are you a business owner? Because at the end of the day, you should be solving problems, but you, as the business owner, should not be solving all the problems. You should be solving the problems that you can solve and helping your employees crush their goals. And if you're not doing that, then you're probably not being a very good leader. I know for me, I wouldn't want to follow somebody that's not doing what they say they're going to do. I wouldn't want to follow somebody that looks and acts like they know everything and they don't, right? I mean, as the business owner, you've got a lot of responsibilities. It's probably the hardest job on the planet. You have to keep up with everything unless, like me, I have a team of people that work with me and they help me with the things that I suck at. And, you know, at the end of the day, that's what this is about, collaboration with people that can help you. Now, you might be thinking, well, I mean, I'm a roofer, or I'm a solar guy, or I'm a plumber, I'm a HVAC guy. Who am I going to collaborate with? Well, you need to collaborate with people that are going to align with your company. If you are a solar person, we work with a lot of solar companies, then you need to know a roofer, right? Because you have to make sure, every solar company has to make sure, or should be making sure, that the roof is good. In fact, they're not going to put solar panels on a roof that's not good. So, or I would challenge you for a moment and have you think, how much money are you losing by not having a roofer in your back pocket, right? If you go to a house and you map everything out and you realize the roof is not going to withstand the solar panels, then let me ask you, would it not make sense for you to say, oh, you know what? I've got a roof guy, and you already have a deal with the roof guy. If I send you business, you'll send me business, or whatever that looks like. It doesn't really matter. It could be a commission deal. It could be, kind of like an affiliate deal. Hey, if you refer people out, you get 10% or you get 1,000, whatever it is, doesn't matter. But even if it's $1,000, let's call it $1,000. That if you call a roofer, your buddy that you have this agreement with, and he decides he's going to charge you $1,000, or better yet, he's going to give you $1,000 every time you send him a referral. How many thousands of dollars have you missed out on by not having that relationship in place? That's a hard question, but you need to ask yourself that. You need to find out, you need to figure out, is there bolt-on opportunities that I could be providing? Now, I'll tell you, and I'm not going to tell you who it is, but one of our solar companies, they have all of this stuff dialed in. You need a roofer, they got a guy. If you need a windows, they got a guy. If you need lawn care, they have a guy. And why is this important? Because when you can provide the resources for anything that customer needs, guess what? They're going to call on you the next time they need something. They're going to say, oh, Corey, you said you had a guy that does slab work. Absolutely. Give me a second. I'll send you the name and number. And then you connect the two dots, right? This is so powerful. This is so important. And this can change your business, right? I mean, it is okay to make money off of other people that you're referring people to. And you should be making money off of those people. Now, listen, I've done this. I've referred people out and I haven't made money. And it's made me feel like, I'm like, oh, they'll refer people out. Well, not all people are going to do what they say they're going to do. Not all people are going to reciprocate the generosity that you've shown. So listen, don't feel like it's wrong for you to ask for payment, right? For referrals. It's at the end of the day, guess what? They're making $3-4 grand on the deal and you make 1,000. Guess what? You just put $2 or $3 grand back in their pocket. Meanwhile, you made 1,000. Now, do you think it makes any sense to not do it that way? Because I'd love to hear the reason why you would not want to have these folks in your back pocket. Because I'm telling you right now, it's a massive help when a customer says to me, hey, Corey, maybe we get done with sales training. Corey, we're done with sales training. I need somebody to help me with marketing. Perfect. I've got a guy. Got a couple of guys. I need to help somebody build my website. I got a guy. I need somebody with my funnel. I got a guy. I need somebody to help me on LinkedIn. I got a guy. I have a guy no matter what the question is. Because it's just smart business. I love when people refer me, so why would I not refer other people? And I also pay people when they refer somebody to me, right? And why do you think I do that? Again, because that's money that I may not have had if they had not referred the customer. So the way I see it is you're being irresponsible by not having that referral network in place. It's so important. And if you need help with this, if you need to understand how to collaborate with people, influencers, or other people in different industries, just reach out to me. I'm happy to tell you exactly how I do it. But it's really simple. Like, just think about, well, who are the people that I'm surrounded by that sells a similar service, but maybe not exactly the same? Hell, it could be a bug spray guy. It could be a bug guy, right? It could be any kind of home services. If you do home services, you should know people that do other home services so you can refer them out so they can refer you out. It's very simple. This is not a hard thing to do. This is not rocket science. It is simple. It's as simple as this. Reach out to other businesses and say, hey, maybe in the chamber or BNI, right? You can reach out to any of those folks and say, hey, I'm also with the chamber. I'm fairly new. Let's have a conversation. Most likely they're going to do that. In fact, I went through this year before last when I joined the chamber, or maybe it was last year early. No, it was year before last. Um, I joined the chamber because actually I was working with one of my coaches, and he said, Corey, this is going to be really big for you. This is going to be a really smart move as long as you participate, let people know who you are, and people will refer you out. Now, this is what happened. I went and met with the chamber, and I went for that reason, right? I went, you join the chamber so you can network and build your business. But all of us probably know that. Um, and so what I did is I said, hey, you guys ever have anybody teach sales tips in here? Absolutely not. Great. When can I sign up? I'll be your guy. I will do a sales tip Tuesday every single Tuesday from now on. And so I think we ran this about 36 weeks, and then the holidays came up. So we took a break and we just started back. But this is important because, one, I get to provide value to a group of people that need it. That's the first thing. And secondly, I also get to provide the value to people that want to be there. They want to learn. They want to get better with sales. They want to get better at connecting with people. They want to get better at closing. They want to get better at a lot of things, prospecting, you name it. And all of that stuff is part of my 9-step roadmap, my 9-step process to crush anybody in sales, right? I mean, it works. It's what's working right now, period. Now, we also talk about closing in the DMs because that's important, right? If you're one of these people that spam the crap out of everybody, stop it. Just stop it, because you're not. Do you like when people spam you? Absolutely not. Do you like when you get DMs that say, oh, buy my shit? Absolutely not. Do you like when people reach out and say, hey, I've got this great crypto deal? No, you delete that. You delete it. Stop showing up like that. Stop showing up in people's DMs like a daggone crypto person. We all know what that's like. We've all gotten those messages. All of us. It's annoying. It's super, super annoying to get, oh, I can make you $17 million by tomorrow with crypto. Sure you can. Send me the plan, right? I mean, like I don't even entertain those messages. I just don't, because it's quite frankly a waste of my time. If you're spamming people in the DMs, you are wasting valuable time. You're wasting their time. You're wasting your time. In fact, I would almost say you're doing yourself a disservice, because, again, you're showing up like everybody else. And that doesn't work. It just doesn't work. I remember at the Arte Syndicate Live meeting was in 2019, Jesse Itzler spoke. And Jesse said, what makes your brownie different? Right? There's 1,000 brownie companies out there. What makes your brownie different? And that's what you got to ask yourself. Why would somebody hire you? Why would somebody want to use your product or service? If you can't answer that, we got to go back to the drawing board, because you shouldn't be selling whatever that is. If you can't explain what your product does or what your service does, you shouldn't be selling it. Here's where salespeople go wrong. They try to sell stuff that they don't know anything about. They try to sell a product or service that they've never used. This is a great example. This is gross, but I'm going to tell you anyway. So it's just like if I'm getting ready to speak at PodFest, and in early November, and it's really cool. It's a live event. I'll be on stage. I can't wait. I'm super excited, like super excited. But the example that I plan on using is this. Does it make sense for me as a podcaster to promote women's, well, I guess I'm assuming they're all women's, but tampons? Absolutely not. Why? And I know, I've never used a tampon. I've gotten nowhere near using a tampon. I don't understand the absorption. I don't understand the feel of it. I don't understand any of that crap. So, does it make sense for me to be advertising for a tampon company? No, because it would be false advertising because I know nothing about it. And just because I'm paid to talk about it doesn't mean it aligns with my customers or my audience. So, and that's another thing. Think about that. If you have a podcast sponsor for Tampax tampons and you're a dude, do you think your audience believes you when you say, oh, yes, you should buy Tampax tampons because of the absorption rate and they feel great? Absolutely not. Because that doesn't align with your brand. It does, or doesn't align with my brand, I should say. Now, if you're a lady and you've used Tampax tampons, that probably makes sense. But otherwise, it makes zero sense for you to be sponsored by a tampon commercial. Here's the other thing, right? Most of you know I don't drink. So it would not make sense for me to advertise Jack Daniels on my show. Now, it would make more sense to advertise Jack Daniels because I have had Jack Daniels in the past, right? I know what it tastes like. I know what it does to you. I know that it's from Tennessee, or at least that's what it says on the bottle. So the point is that might align with my audience, but it doesn't really align with me because I don't drink. So I would have you think for a second before you take on a sponsorship, before you decide to promote a brand, I need you to ask yourself, is it really the brand I need to be working with? Right? And this is what you've got to ask. You got to ask, well, is this audience will my audience align with it? Probably not. They might. Who knows? But to bring this back to the topic, since I got way off track, is your sales team giving you a bunch of BS excuses? Because if they are, that tells me you haven't trained them, or it tells me that you've never had anybody train them. And you might think you know how to train them, but guess what, dude? You're the business owner. So therefore, you're most likely the boss. And at the end of the day, you are not the person people are going to confide in. They're just not. In fact, I would almost say that your employees would be less likely to tell you what's really going on than to tell you what's going on. I hope that's not the case. I hope your employees are different than that, but most likely they're not because you're the hierarchy. You're the guy, right? Or the woman, whichever. I just use that as a general terminology. You're the guy. So I just need you to think about that. If your sales team's struggling, you got to figure out what to do because guess what? We're heading for some rocky times potentially. And I mean, at the rate things are going, there's a really good chance of that. Everybody knows what that means. I don't have to dig into that. So I just need you to think about that, right? I just need you to think about, you got your ego is not your amigo. Remove ego from the scenario, and I promise you, your sales team's going to explode. But you got to have the right systems and processes in place in order for that to happen the right way. And I can help you do that, or you could find somebody else to help you do that. But either way, you need to get help doing that immediately because we're going into the holiday season, and depending on what you sell, depending on what your product is or what your service is, you may or may not get super, super busy here before long. And here's the other thing. I'd have you ask let's just say you are a tradesman. Do your people leave estimates before they leave the house? Because I'm going to tell you right now, if they're not leaving the estimate before they leave the house, you're losing money every single day. And I'm telling you, like the smallest things can shore up your revenue like that. So I hope you got some value out of this. I hope that you'll take this and really internalize it. You're more than welcome to reach out to me. I'll post in the comment how you can do that. You just go to my page, go to my sales page, my CoreyTheSalesCEO.com, but I'll put it in the comments. So anyway, guys, look, I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I appreciate you listening, and use what I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you, it works so well. Train your folks, role play with them, test them, try different tactics. Because guess what? If you're not doing that, they're doing it on your customers. And that's why the leads suck. That's why your guys can't close. That's why, whatever, fill in the blank, right? All right, folks. Later.